Hello, believers, non believers, and everyone in between. You're listening to Stories with Sapphire. I am Sapphire Sandalo. Now get cozy and open your mind because it's story time.
Hi guys, this is so embarrassing, but we're having some technical difficulties.
If you're a regular listener of the show, you might remember the stories I've shared about my grandma's house. The tall figure in the hallway, the room everyone avoided, my cousin's imaginary friend, and my bizarre dreams that took place in the bathroom. I, and the rest of my family, have always believed that something peculiar was going on in that house, perhaps some kind of spirit portal. So on the evening of April 25 of this year, I went live from my grandma's house with psychic mediums Stephanie and Carl, my cousin Genesis, and my friend Brandy, and Buffy, the tiny dog.
Tonight is a very special night because we are here in my grandmother's house. Genesis, do you think almost everyone in the family has had weird feelings in this house?
Yeah, for sure.
This is an investigation that I've wanted to do for a while. Before we do any of that, it's really important at the beginning of doing any type of investigation to set your intentions. And personally, I like to open a circle so that we call upon all of our protective guardians, ancestors, anything that will help us feel safe and protect us from anything that's going to harm us.
Something that I rarely see paranormal investigators do is take protective measures or set their intentions. Something I do before attempting communication of any kind is to cast a circle and call upon our guardians and ancestors so they can maintain our spiritual boundaries, if you will.
All right, so now would be the time to call upon any deities, any higher power that protects you and guides you. That would be the time to call them in.
You could also say a simple prayer, anything that will put you in a grounded headspace. It's sort of like wearing a hazmat suit to make sure you don't get infected by anything you can't see that can harm you after you leave. We want to observe ghosts, not become ghosts.
Okay. Yay. All right, thanks guys. What I would love to do is have you guys walk around, see what you're gravitating to, and then we can just go from there. Is that cool?
Yes.
So throughout our investigation, there were things that Stephanie and Carl picked up on about my grandpa and grandma's energies, like my grandpa's chair.
I feel like that chair, only one person was allowed to sit on it. When I was standing in front of it, I was about to sit down.
I sat there and I felt uncomfortable.
And then I was about to sit down. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
There's like this.
And my grandma's room.
I don't even feel like I'm supposed to even go back there, to be honest with you.
You're also pointing at the bathroom that I mentioned.
I almost don't know if I should go back there. I mean,
Well, you're not allowed to go in my grandma's room. That's probably what you're picking up.
like, don't do it.
Yeah, they're like, don't you dare.
Don't you dare.
But what stood out to me the most was the following that Carl said.
So, before we walked into the house, I saw a couple shadow figures. But outside the window, I kept seeing this whirlwind. And considering that we are close to the ocean, it made me feel like this particular energy saw either a natural disaster or this whirlwind was a prelude to what this person's life entailed. And in addition to that, while you were doing your meditation, the second shadow figure that I saw was actually right in my face. The hands were right here on my face, looking at me, and was saying the words, "Hear me, hear me." I was feeling feminine energy, and I saw long hair. It was dark. It was very dark. I wouldn't say jet black. I mean, it wasn't like a super negative energy. It just was like, I'm just frustrated. I need to be heard. I need to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it entailed.
Sorry, something just like came to me and like made me really emotional. I guess I could share it now. So one of the very first dreams I've had so many dreams that took place here, but I think one of the first was like this really vivid one. And I was like walking into this house and I went into the bathroom. And when I opened the bathroom, everything was not as it was. There was like palm trees and sand. And then I saw this woman on the floor and she had long black hair and she was like naked. And I knew that she was dead. And in the dream, I was like, no, 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 don't tell me. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. And then like, because I feel like you're talking about her. And then when you were like, she wants to be heard. And then I just remembered how I was in my dream saying, I don't want to know. I don't want to know what happened. And then I just got really sad. Like if that is like the same energy that like I saw that you're talking about.
I think it is. That's why you felt the emotion empathically as like a double confirmation.
I don't mean to interrupt, but
And then I
did
do
hear
feel something.
Yeah, I did just hear
Did
something.
you hear that?
Yeah.
And it feels colder now in here.
Yeah,
Like a gust of cold air.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm feeling the cold too.
So then I just got really sad because it's like I don't know, like damn, okay. So I guess my question now is like what does she want to be known?
After our investigation, I was going through our footage and I came upon a story, the second most deadly event in California history. I grew up in Ventura County and have lived in Southern California my entire life, and I had never even heard of this. Was this the story that this woman wanted to be told? As always, if you have any paranormal experiences you'd like to share on the show, or if you have any leads on a place that could use an investigation, send me an email at story@storieswithsapphire.com. All right, back to the investigation at my grandma's house. Carl had mentioned a whirlwind a couple times, and when he stood in the hallway near the haunted bathroom,
I feel really cold, and that says a lot because I was born and raised in Alaska. I'm seeing drops of water. I don't see where the water is filled in. It's just water, and there's like a whirlpool going down, and it seems like at the tip or at the bottom, there's a woman in a white dress kind of floating at the end, and it makes you feel like you're drowning, but it's not like you're drowning and then you eventually, pass away. It's more like you're drowning and you're stuck.
my grandma's house is very close to the Santa Clara River in Ventura. So while I was editing our footage, I decided to research if there were any significant events that happened along this river. And that's when I learned about the St. Francis Dam disaster of 1928. In San Francisquito Canyon, the St. Francis Dam was constructed by the Bureau of Waterworks and Supply, led by self-taught chief engineer William Mulholland. Before constructing the dam, he was unaware that the foundation was an ancient landslide. During construction, he added an additional 10 feet to the height without adding additional support at the base. On March 12, 1928, the dam keeper alerted Mulholland of a new leak, but Mulholland assured him that it wasn't anything to worry about and returned home to Los Angeles. That evening, 2 minutes before midnight, the dam burst. A wave of 12 billion gallons of water, 120 feet high and 2 miles wide, came barreling down the canyon, down the Santa Clara River, destroying everything in its path, all the way to the Pacific Ocean. It's estimated that over 450 people were killed, but because many of the bodies were washed out to sea or undocumented workers, the official death toll was likely much higher. Many of the bodies that were found remain unidentified because most of them were found unclothed or battered to unrecognition by the deadly wave. The palm trees sand, the naked woman. Was the woman I saw in my dream an unidentified victim of this catastrophe? Was the story of the St. Francis Dam disaster the story she wanted to be told? But how does this disaster that happened 50 miles away relate to my grandma's house? So I looked a little deeper. The path of the flood's destruction traveled all the way down the Santa Clara River, all the way to Ventura, including the land my grandma's house stands on. I pulled up several articles from the local paper that year, and several bodies were found in her particular neighborhood. There are several cemeteries that honor the many unidentified victims in a mass grave, and one of them is within a mile of my grandma's home. And I also noticed something interesting about the date. The dam burst 2 minutes before midnight the evening of March 12th, and it continued its destruction for another couple of hours. March 13th is my grandpa's birthday. Kind of weird. And then I kept reading on about the aftermath of the flood and how it led to the creation of the Board of Registration for Civil Engineers to make sure projects are regulated for safety. My grandpa was a civil engineer for the city of Ventura. He spent his whole life making sure that buildings and structures were safe. Were these spirits attracted to my grandpa because he made them feel safe? I'm fully aware that I'm being the Charlie Day in front of the whiteboard meme right now and connecting random things with red string. But my dream and our investigation led me to learning more about this tragic piece of California history, about a man whose unchecked power resulted in the deadliest man-made disaster of the 20th century that disproportionately affected the unhoused and Mexican communities. And I think that is a story worth knowing. An investigation should always end with helpful intentions. So we picked some of my grandpa's fruits and offered it to the spirits in the house, and we attempted to cross over anyone who was ready to leave.
So I did light this candle I just put it down for the time being while we got situated. I'll put it right here. Oh, that was weird.
What is that?
It just started glitching.
As soon as Steph moved her candle to the center of the circle, one of our pieces of equipment started loudly glitching.
Yeah, please. Yeah, you can turn it off. So basically what we do is like we envision the candle as like the doorway, essentially like opening into wherever they need to be.
All right. Go ahead and close your eyes and take a deep breath. Breathe in and out. Above your head.
After a few
Imagine
minutes of meditation,
warm,
we all began to feel a
radiant,
cold breeze enter the
cold
circle.
light. You are free to go. Step through the doorway. You are not alone.
We ended the investigation by closing the circle and disconnecting our energy from the energy of the house. When it comes to the paranormal, a story is never really done. This felt like a chapter closing, but I'm certain more will unfold in the future.